So in this next video, let me show you how this code works. How the code works doesn't really matter so much as you know, the main goal of this set of videos is to show how to show some project management skills. How to have a class file of code or a library of code separate from the main program. So they have a group of people working on this, a group of people working on this, linked to the main program, and separate from the main program. Okay. So now the previous video showed very quickly how to do that. This video I'm going to show how the program works, and that in fact it does work. In the next video I'm going to show you how to make those links. Alright, so this is the main program. What you're looking at is this file here. Okay, now what's going to happen is now this one here is running a function. Now this is a normal function call. This has really nothing to do with object-oriented programming or anything like that. Now this below is object-oriented programming, so we'll talk about that later. So in this case here, you're running a file, okay, and this A, now where does that A come from? Alright, it looks like object-oriented programming, but it's really not. So if you go back to resources and libraries, the A comes from the identifier. Okay, when I added this class here, I gave it an identifier. I called it A. Alright, I chose a version and I turned development mode on. Alright, so what that means is it's going to look into the class, okay, or it's going to look into the library, which I identified as A, which is this file here. Okay, and then if you go to here, okay, it's going to run. It's going to run this. It's going to run this function here. All right, A file. All right. So main program. Okay, A file, and it's going to run this program. And what's it doing here is it's going to create a new object from the A-test class. The A-test class is located in this file here. This is the A-test class. Alright, and in here it's going to use the object. Okay, it's going to use the object to run a method or behavior called runMe, which is here. Okay, so what's going to do is going to put this in the logger.log. So now if we run the program, it should add something to the logger. Okay, so run the program, run it, and there it is. Okay, this is coming from import script A. So how did that get in the logger of the main program? If you look in here, logger.log. Alright, now what I want to show you is, now if this is a little too complicated for you, we can comment this out. Alright, comment this out. Comment this out. Alright, and in here I'm going to do some simple logger. Oops. Logger.log. Hello world. Okay, this is about the easiest thing I could do in the world. Now, when I come back to here and run it, okay, it should give me hello world. Okay, and it does. Hello world is right here. Okay, so is running this function here is causing this to appear. Now I want to show you something. So if I come back to resources and libraries, if I turn development mode off, let me see what's going to happen. Now watch this. If we go hello world 2, okay, hello world 2, I come back to here. If I run it, what's going to happen? Okay, it can't find a file in the object. All right. The reason why it can't even find a file in the object is because if you turn development mode off. Okay, so what happened when I turned development mode off? So resources, libraries. When I turn development mode off, that means that it's using the version number that you created here. All right. And what I need to do in order to get the code running is I need to come into my class file. I need to go File, Manage Versions. All right. What has changed? Add code. I don't know. Okay. Save a new version. All right. Okay, so my latest version is 6. Click OK here. Come back to here. This is the main program. Click on Resources, Libraries. I'm going to use version 6. Save it. Okay, now I'm going to run it. And it runs. And it's Hello World 2. Okay, you see that? So that is what so if you look in libraries, that is what the development mode off means. What it means is off, it depends on the version number that you're working on. Okay, it won't include the newest changes. Now the question is, well, why not, right? So if you come back to here, okay, and let's go Hello World. Let's bring it back to Hello World like that. Check this out. You come back to here. Now if I push run, is it going to have Hello World or Hello World 2? Well, it's going to have Hello World 2. Okay. Now why didn't I changed this to Hello World? Why didn't it put Hello World 2 here? Well, because the reason is because I don't have a new version. All right. So if I go to here, okay, resources, sorry, file, manage versions, okay, Hello World 2, save a new version, okay, click OK, come back to here, okay, then I'm going to go file, sorry, resources, libraries, new version 7, Hello World 2, save it, run the code, okay, come back here, and there I'm back at Hello World again. Okay, so that is a difference. That is an extremely useful feature. The development mode, I'll explain why in a second. Now let's change it one more time. Let's come back to here and let's do something completely different. Let's go Daniel. All right. Okay. Now again, come back to here. If we run the function, is it going to be Hello World or Daniel? Well, it's going to be Hello World because I didn't save a new version. Now what I can do, if I do this, if we go Resources, Libraries, okay, turn development mode on, okay. Now mind you, I didn't change the version. If I run it again, is it going to have Daniel in the logger? And it does. Okay, so development mode on, it always uses the latest version. Now what is the purpose of development mode? The purpose of development mode is that you can have a version of your class, let's say like version 5 dated August 10th. Alright, so you keep on using that version dated August 10th because it works. Now as a developer is changing the code and modifying it, you're continuing to use the version 5 of your coding. Alright, and as you know, it takes a long time to develop, write, and test code. So as they're basically messing up with this class and changing things around, you're using the version that worked for you. And then when this team B, okay, when this team B says, okay, we have a new version, version 6 is ready to roll. So they make available version 6 for you, and in your main program, what you're going to do, all right, in your main program, what you're going to do is you're going to go resources, libraries, change the version to the version they want, okay, and then make sure development mode is off, okay, because you don't want to be using their code as they're creating new and maintaining it. You want to use a version that's running, that's working for you. Okay. So that's how development mode works. So let's run through the rest of this file. Now, this stuff down here is all object-oriented programming. Okay. Now, what this line here is doing is creating a new object from a class called A-test. That class called A-test is located in a library called A. I defined the library called A in resources, libraries. So I called this file here. I gave it an identifier of A. Okay, so that is located in, that is this class file here, A-test. See this? You see this class file here? Okay, that is what A-test is referring to. Okay, the variable is, the object name is me. Okay, now I'm using the object me to run a function called runMe. The function called runMe is located in the class called aTest, which is located in the library called A, which again is located in this file here. Okay, so runMe is located here, and what runMe is going to do is now this is a special pronoun, is a special variable that what it does is it uses the object that called this function and associates the property hey to that object, and that property hey is assigned the value of red. Okay, so the object that called this function runMe is called me. All right, so now me has the property of, so me has a property called hey, which is assigned the value of red. Okay, so when I use the object called me, and I'm looking inside what the property hey, what the value of the property hey is, I stick that in the logger. Okay, and that's going to be red. Okay, so all I'm doing here, I know this is quite complicated, but you know, if you don't know how to do object-oriented programming, well, if you don't know, then you really should, because it's kind of a standard, you know, aside from functional programming and that kind of stuff. But you don't have to know this stuff. But the reason for me putting it in here is so that you can see that you can use a fully you can fully use object-oriented programming in JavaScript. It's, you know, prototype object-oriented programming, and you can use it to assign properties to the object that called it, and that object that called it happens to be defined in the main program and not in the you know, not in this program here. Okay, so that in a small nutshell is how this works. All right, and this is basically a repeat of what we did up here, except with a completely different class. Okay, and all I have in this file here is, if you go script editor, okay, so all I did here is I'm just proving that, you know, you could have, so this main program here would be this one here. Okay, you could have this main program also linked to the same classes. All right, so in this spreadsheet, I open the script that associate with this spreadsheet. Okay, and I'm going to go to resources, libraries. Okay, and you can see that I'm linked to the O25B library here, O25B. Okay, and what I can do is in 25A, I'm going to go to File, Project Properties. Okay, I'm going to copy this one here, copy it, come back to this one here, locate my library, select, choose my version 7, choose my identifier A, save it. Okay, and now I should be able to run it. All right, let's just try it just for fun. Let's go a file. So what that should do is in a file here, okay, that should run this function here, and should put Daniel in the logger. So let's see if it does that. So let's run my function. Okay, now why did that work? It put hello world in the logger instead. Now why did that work? Now let's come back to here and go to libraries and say, guess what? Development mode was off. It was using version 7. So if I turn development mode on, it's going to use the latest version of that file. Now when I run it, it should have Daniel in there, and it does. Okay, because if you check here in A, this happens to be the latest version. Okay, so that in a nutshell is how this whole thing, how this whole program works. Again, the focus of this set of videos is to show some project management skills using class libraries inside the Google Apps Script GUI editor. The next program, I'll just review very quickly how to make those links, which I kind of already did, but anyways.